Today I will be talking about three different types of operons: tryptophan operon, lac operon, and lac operon featuring CAMP and CAP. Two of these operons are anabolic inhibitions, which are negative feedback systems. And the lac operon is a catabolic inhibition that features a positive feedback mechanism. In the tryptophan operon, there's the tryptophan R, which is the regulatory gene that makes an mRNA from a 5' to 3' strand. It then creates a repressor protein that is inactive. If there is no tryptophan present, then the repressor protein is inactive, therefore it cannot bind to the operator. RNA polymerase can bind onto the promoter or the binding site on the promoter. mRNA can be produced, and tryptophan genes can be transcribed into enzymes. So let's say tryptophan was present in this operon. Then tryptophan then becomes a repressor, then binds onto the repressor protein, which then causes it to be active. If the repressor protein is active, it then goes through an allosteric change, meaning that the co-repressor binding onto the repressor then changes its shape. It's inactive, and then it binds onto the promoter. The promoter is then turned off. RNA polymerase cannot bind onto the binding side of the promoter. Therefore, mRNA is not made, and tryptophan genes cannot be transcribed into enzymes. For the lac operon, the regulatory gene is LAC-I. It then creates a mRNA strand from a 5' to 3'. Then it creates a repressor protein that is already active. But this only occurs if lactose is not present. So the repressor protein is inactive. It then binds onto the operator, which then causes the operator to turn off, which then does not allow RNA polymerase to bind. Then mRNA cannot be produced, and the lac genes cannot be transcribed into enzymes. But if there is lactose present, then allolactose, an inducer, will then bind onto the repressor protein, which then makes it inactive. This causes it to also change shape, causing an allosteric effect. If this repressor protein is inactive, it cannot bind onto the operator. RNA polymerase can then bind to the binding side of the promoter, and mRNA can be created, and lac genes can be transcribed into enzymes. For the catabolic inhibition, lac operon, LAC-I, the promoter RNA, and the repressor gene, and the allolactose, and lac genes, and all that. So let's say there wasn't any glucose present. Then there would be high levels of CAMP. The CAMP would then bind onto on the cap. The cap would then bind onto the binding site of the promoter next to RNA polymerase. And for the repressor protein, the allolactose, the inducer, the allolactose is already bonded onto the repressor protein, making it inactive, thus causing an allosteric change. Back to this, if CAMP and CAP is bonded together and they're already bonded and they bind it to the promoter, then RNA polymerase can then bind more easily to the promoter, causing more production of mRNA and more production of lac genes being transcribed into enzymes. But let's say that there was a high amount of glucose present. Then if there's high amount of glucose present, then CAMP will not bind onto CAP, and CAP will then not bind onto the promoter. This means that CAP is then inactive, and RNA polymerase can still bind onto the promoter, and mRNA can be produced, but it won't be as easy because Cap with CMP acts as an inhibitor.